Good afternoon and good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream number 320. And it's Wednesday, which means it is Wednesdays with Skep. And look at that, we're actually doing Wednesdays with Skep on Wednesday this week.
I believe in miracles once
Isn't
again.
that amazing? How are you doing today,
Oh,
Mr. Skep Top?
it's a pleasure to be with you. It truly is. I'd actually like to start the stream off with something a little bit unusual, and that is that to show another stream that Minions is doing tonight, and I think it's going to be kind of some fun.
Ooh.
Sanguine Mathgamane, or however Magavan, or however the hell you say his name. Anyway, one of my friends, a dear friend, is hosting Minions tonight, and he's doing a stream on near-death experiences. So a bunch of us are going to get on and recount our near-death experiences. So if you want to hear about how I nearly died because of a bad parachute, yes, this really happened to me. I had to cut away a bad parachute and pull my reserve while hurtling to earth at about 100 miles an hour. You can hear that story tonight, among others, how I nearly drowned near Yellowstone Park and almost died on the cliffs of Mendocino doing a really ill-advised freestyle climb. So you can hear about those and other near-death experiences tonight, and our reflections about them on the Minions of the Zoo channel at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and whatever the hell time it is on Pacific. I don't do math on the air.
Actually.
I think it's going to be very interesting. A lot of people are going to be on, I think, and we're going to get a lot of interesting stories. Reject is going to be on. She's got like 6. So, we're liable to have a lot of people. It may be one of these things where he has to transition people in and off the stream. There'd be so many people. Wow. So that it'd be kind of some fun. A little bit different, a little bit off the beaten track. So be sure and tune in tonight. So I wanted to get that show out there. So anyway.
Let's say hi to chat. Let's see. Grillin' Pirate Pete is here. Maddie's here. Wikipedia Snippet is here.
I see that.
Prospero is here. Hi,
Prospero.
If at first you don't succeed, skydiving isn't for you, says Wikipedia Snippet.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't really run out of things to try. You just run out of time.
Yeah.
It's like so many other problems. So, like a bad marriage.
Thou art a bitch.
Yeah.
Thou art a heartless bitch.
9.8 meters per second squared. It isn't just a good idea. It's the law. So.
There's back when Big Bang Theory was funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was
first season.
That was one of the quotes from Sheldon. Ah, gravity, thou art a heartless bitch.
Yeah.
it's just, So how have you been?
Well, I've been fine. I've been just as always wondering at the lunacy that characterizes the national political scene, and I love the way that, and I actually tweeted this out earlier today. I love the way the Democrats got up and said there is no person less qualified to be in the White House by temperament and by dint of talent than Donald J. Trump. And all of a sudden, here comes Michael Bloomberg, and he says, "Hold my martini."
Yeah.
This guy is an epic monster. I mean, he really is the monster that people think Trump is.
Yeah.
Trump is just sort of a selfish, egotistical, a bit of a brute and nothing. He's not really anything more than that. Bloomberg is the kind of guy who will put people up against the wall and execute them. I mean, if he was given that type of power, he would say, "I've got to make society better." He's one of these Napoleon short man guys who is going, my way or the highway.
Well, and not to mention, like, yes, Trump funded his own campaign for the most part, but he didn't have to literally buy his way in.
No, he got popular because of his message.
Because of his yeah. all Bloomberg is doing is going, I want to be president. Here, have my money. Can I be president now?
Yeah. Or this presidency thing. How much does it cost?
Yeah.
And he thinks that he can get in there. The problem is, I hope is that the voters will see his message as rancid. It would just be one of the epic pranks that life would play on somebody with too much hubris and too much cash to separate him from all that cash and leave him holding nothing but a failed nomination. That would make me happy, happy, happy.
Do we have? I think we have a Tully in chat.
Is Tally in chat?
Is her YouTube channel Atella Paxer?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think so.
It says, greetings from Europe. You're
Okay.
a new person. Hello, new person. Atella Paxer. I believe it's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, it's very good. Well,
Thank you
welcome.
for coming.
Glad you're here.
Hello, Mr. Dax.
And there's Mr. Dax. And let's see. What can we know? What can we know about Attila Paxer? Attila Paxer. Not really a lot of content on the channel. So I'll be your first subscriber. You now have a subscriber, Attila.
Hey,
welcome to
Irene's
YouTube.
Here.
Anyway, so
Irate.
Irate prostate.
Sorry about last night, my brother. I didn't mean to ditch you and not show up in Discord.
Okay.
Charlie Spears, hello, welcome.
Yeah. And Attila says, no channel, just listener. Oh, we're glad to have you. I was just playing around. I just wanted to, I didn't know who you were, and it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for happening by. And I would be curious, Attila, if you could tell us, how did you hear about the CoffeeStream? I'm always kind of interested to hear origin stories and things like that. So anyway, so we have the situation with Bloomberg, running, and it dawned on me that the thing with Republicans and Bloomberg is very similar to the way that it's analogous to the way that Canadians look at Trump and then go and elect somebody like Trudeau.
Mm-hmm.
They say, Trump is a monster. Trump shouldn't be president. He should, we know something about who an appropriate chief executive is, and then they elect Trudeau. That talk about losing credibility. So anyway, I'm just saying it. I guess electing a competent chief executive is harder than it looks, because there are a lot of smart people in charge, and we're not getting it done.
The annoying thing about a lot of Canadians is that they look at what's going on in the States.
Yeah.
And whether they'll agree with it or not.
Yeah.
They think it's happening up here. And it's like, no, can you stop? Focus on what's going on here.
Right.
Like, seriously, just
Gunfox is here.
Oh, hello, Gunfox.
Yeah, focus on what's here. I mean, there are differences between Canada and the U.S. Canada uses metric, and they have ladies on their money. I mean, there's all kinds of things. So, but
ladies on their money.
Well, they do. There's women on the money. There's no women on the money in the United States. There's women on the money in the places like Canada and Australia.
Like, pay attention, Canadians, to shit like this. CN Rail is now laying off Canadian National Railway. is laying off 450 workers because of these fucking protests and rail blockades.
Wow. And you know what? The people who are doing the protesting will claim that as a victory.
Yeah.
Look how mighty we are. Look what we made the man do. Only those 450 workers are not going to get their full pay. They'll probably get some strike pay or some you know get by pay. But those protesters are so thoughtless. It's so irritating, and they're just a bunch of spoiled pieces of shit. You know, I don't think you should go in with machine guns and mow them down or anything. But it would be really satisfying to watch.
And it's really aggravating because not only are they affecting they're not only affecting regular citizens, right? They're not only affecting those people, but there are rural reservations in Ontario.
Yes.
That depend on freight trains,
right,
to deliver food
and water
and fucking the ability to heat their homes.
That's exactly right. And so now those trains will be running. Well done, you assholes. And I just have to read Prospero's quote. Oh, for fuck's sake, this is retarded. Arrest the woke. This nonsense of making it worse needs to stop. Fucking quizzlings in the government. And she's absolutely right. Oh, yeah. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah. Those 450 workers need to go to those protesters and yell at their dumb asses, says Maddie. Yep.
Yeah. Maddie is here. Hi, Maddie. And so is TOS. Hi, TOS. Nice to have you with us. And so anyway.
So this here is saying Montreal, the CN Rail is laying off about 450 workers in its operations in Eastern Canada after canceling operations over the blockade in Ontario. The layoffs will affect operational staff, including employees working at Autoport and Eastern Passage, Moncton, Charlie, and Montreal. So Moncton, I think Moncton, Ontario, or Moncton, New Brunswick, because there are two.
How can a country have two Monktons? What the hell is that? It's Canada, for God's sake.
How can a country have fucking 8 billion Springfields?
There's only like 20 cities in the whole country. God almighty.
Hey, you have like thousands of Springfields. So
yeah, we do.
Don't even.
I think there's a Springfield in all but like 3 or 4 states. That's absolutely true. It's a very, very common name. We have a lot of main streets too, for that matter, but that's not important right now. Anyway, let's see. What was it? Are you ready for a? Oh shit! I had a good news story, and it left me. Hang on. Hold on. The old fool can find it. Just relax.
Don't forget the many peach trees.
Yes, okay.
Tree
I found it
in Georgia. Says
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And there's actually places in Atlanta where Peachtree intersects Peachtree. That just is not fair.
I'm standing at Peachtree and Peachtree.
You can I have
pick me up.
I have taken a picture of my first ex-wife at that exact corner. So yes. Anyway, I found the story. If you're interested,
sure.
Okay, and this is a little bit more lighthearted and fun. London, CNN. A rare beast has been asleep in the Irish countryside for close to half a century.
Uh-oh.
When the old Middleton distillery in County Cork closed its doors in 1975, after 150 years in business, several casks of trial whiskey innovations disappeared with it. They rested deep within their barrels until now. On Tuesday night, a gathering of whiskey enthusiasts met in London's Old Sessions House to toast the launch of Middleton Very Rare Silent Distillery Collection, Ireland's oldest ever whiskey collection. Its first release is a 45-year-old peated single malt created in 1974 by Master Distiller Emeritus Max Crockett and guarded at the abandoned distillery for 3 generations since. Presented in a hand-blown Waterford crystal decanter and displayed in a wooden cabinet made from reclaimed whiskey vats, there are just 48 bottles in the world. The price tag for this rare wonder is, you'd think maybe $500?
No.
Maybe $1,000? $40,000.
I don't know if I would drink that.
CNN,
Like, I would want to. But
CNN Travel was there to have a taste. Here. This is a true unicorn whiskey, says Brian Nation, head distiller at Irish Distillers. It was part of a series of innovation trials, never to be released or repeated. A little fun there. All right. Anyway, over 45 years of maturation, the whiskey has lost 87% of its volume, making the cask's cargo all the more precious.
Wow.
As master of ceremonies, he stands as 25 milliliter glasses of the amber-hued elixir are distributed around the 2 tables of eagerly waiting diners. Then, with a flourish, a switch is flicked so that the glasses are all lit from below and the whiskey gleams. We grasp the stems and breathe deeply, absorbing a world of rich, dark spices in the antique oak. There's a lovely earthy note of freshly cut peat, and I think of leather, explains Nation, guiding us on our seance with this most rare of spirits. And that's given a twist by some citrus notes, particularly by what I would describe as grapefruit. So they could have had a Fresca for 75 cents. The contribution of the sherry wine seasoned cask is giving you some hints of ripe honeydew melon, bucket and a half. But particularly red berries as well. Our noses are filled. It's time to part our lips. Tasting a fine whiskey is like skimming stones across a lake. The first sip breaks the surface, then the ripples of flavor spread out. But there are unexplored depths to savor. I love this guy. The Middleton Very Rare Whiskey is a cask strength 51.2% alcohol. So that's 102.4 proof. He said, doing math on the air.
This writer is a wanker, says I right.
I don't know. We taste it neat first in order to appreciate the smoothness of the distillate and full flavor contribution at its original strength. How would you ever not drink this whiskey neat? What are you going to do? Make a whiskey sour out of it?
Fuck
Jesus
no,
God.
You drink that straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Nation pronounced it instantly rich. The peppery spices slowly build up, blah, 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 blah. The contribution of the malted barley comes to the fore. We're getting some sweetness from what I would describe as licorice, barley sugar, and even some hints of honey. But that sweetness is given a little edge by a touch of sherbet. Evidently, every food that this guy likes is in this.
I don't think this guy knows whiskey.
Yeah.
The way he's talking, he
sounds like he's been reading Wine Spectator.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
He sounds like he's trying to taste, like he's trying to
taste
wine tasting
right
to whiskey tasting.
I agree with you completely.
And it's nowhere near the same thing.
No, it's a complete. The finish is slow to fade, and we're still savoring the spices and malted barley as we add a drop of water to our glasses. That's an obscenity. The act of dilution mutes the alcohol a bit and allows the other flavor to come to the floor. No, it doesn't. It dilutes
what
the
are you talking about, dude?
That's hideous. Anyway, basically they liked it a lot, and I just wanted to pass that along and then read the description of what it looks like. This is in the CNN Travel. It's very easy to find. if enough people are interested, I'll stick the link in chat. A lot of people use the phrase liquid history, but I think for myself, this is the first time I've actually tasted liquid history. To see something that's been silenced for so long is extraordinary. And that's interesting because I think back to 1975. In 1975, I had graduated from college, had completed officer candidate school in the Navy. I was a young ensign getting my final training at the Navy school in Athens, Georgia.
Right.
And that July, I headed out to the fleet. So that seems like
this
yesterday.
Is how old?
This is that was when they shut down the distillery.
But this particular whiskey, is at how old? 100 or?
This is no, it's 45 years.
45 years old.
Let me see.
Atella was asking.
It's something like that. Let's see. Yeah, they said it was. It closed its doors in 1975, so it's 45 years old. Now that was after 150 years in business, but the several casks of trial whiskey which had been made in the last year or so of operation.
I'm not sure I would drink that. I wouldn't want to. Like, I would want to have that bottle.
Yeah.
And just be like, this is my $40,000 whiskey. Isn't it nice to look at?
Yeah. Now, the Waterford Crystal decanter is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, that's like probably a $300, $400 piece of crystal.
I would just, when I would drink that? If I was told, blind press,
you have 10 days.
You are going to die.
Right. The firing squad is dawn.
Yeah, I would be like, look, here's my whiskey. I'm drinking all of this. I don't care how drunk I get. And I don't care if I die of alcohol poisoning. I'm drinking all of this.
Absolutely. That would be worthwhile. So anyway, just a little bit of fun there for that. I thought you would enjoy that. And now for the news of the weird. Do you want to hear just a weird ass story?
Sure.
This is pillowcases full of something keep getting dumped outside a UK fire station. Now, I'm just going to tell you what it is. A total of another 16 snakes have been dumped in pillowcases outside a UK fire station where 13 pythons were discovered last week.
What the fuck?
This is the latest haul of 15 corn snakes and a carpet python was found on Saturday in a bin behind Farringdon Fire Station in Sunderland, northeast England, according to a statement from the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The 16 snakes were taken to the vets and found to be in fairly good condition despite their ordeal. And then there's a picture of the snakes, and there they are. And
so somebody's just...
They're putting a whole bunch of snakes in a damn pillowcase and then tying the end, and voila.
Bag of snakes. Yes, I read exactly.
Bag of snakes. So anyway, so it was very stressful for the snakes. And but what would you do if you walked out, you saw a pillowcase dumped outside your door, and you walked up to it, and the pillowcase started to move and undulate? Would you pick that up?
Hell no, I would kick it.
No, that might be the wrong thing to do.
No. What I would do is I would whack it with my cane.
Yeah, you'd whack it with your cane. I think
as far as hard as possible. I would.
I'm not a big fan of keeping snakes, and I, this is a little bit hypocritical because we used to go out and trap snakes. We even used to trap the little rattlesnakes they had up at the on the Air Force Academy grounds when I was a little kid.
I don't mind like one pet snake.
Yeah.
right? Like one snake is fine, but a giant like a pillowcase that you're not expecting to move,
Yeah.
starts moving, and I'm just like
You're done.
inanimate
You're out of
inanimate inanimate objects shouldn't do that. Whack
there.
whack whack whack.
You've just seen too many horror films. You
I
know what
have.
happens next, right? Yeah, you're not the girl who says, maybe we should go to the graveyard instead of avoiding the running car.
my so Alex the other day in his bath, he goes, "Mommy, Daddy, I hear a voice in the bathtub." We're like, "Is it telling you that you'll float? Because if it is, get out."
Yeah, exactly. But they're here anyway. So I, there was a park in Florida was closed last week due to a water snake orgy. I don't know if
Do
you've
a
ever
what?
a water
What?
snake orgy. Let me just explain how snakes mate. So, well, not all snakes do this, but some snakes do. They get in what is called a mating ball. I've seen one of these in my whole
Crabs
life.
do
I've
it
seen
too,
one.
don't they?
Crabs would get together in a big kind of a free for all. I know what you're talking about. I've seen that on PBS. But to see a mating ball of snakes is weird because the thing moves across the ground and it can move toward you. And that's and it's big. It's unbelievably big because these are all mature snakes and they're all trying to get it on with each other and make baby snakes. And so they just all get together in this writhing mass that is vaguely circular. It looks like a ball, and it appears to roll toward you. What it really is happening is they're all just slithering in one particular direction or another, and but they're all trying to get on top of one another, which is why you get the vaguely spherical shape. So anyway, yes, they had one of those down in a park down there when a bunch of water snakes come together and mating season.
Oh my!
Like they will, and that's just part of that. So I thought I would pass that news story along.
Mommy, what are those snakes doing?
Well, when two snakes really love each other, let's see. In other news, hey, just off the cuff thing. So, did you hear about Trump pardoning these critters from federal penitentiary?
I saw a story that was titled "Trump goes on clemency spree" and the list is long, and I should have grabbed it, but I didn't.
Well, I'll just highlight one in particular who he pardoned. I mean, two actually. I'll say a brief thing about Michael Milken was the '80s junk bond king, who was absolutely one of the most corrupt people on earth, and just stripped so many people of every penny they had in order to become a billionaire. He's a truly corrupt man and deserves to die penniless in the gutter. But he won't, of course, and Trump pardoned him. I don't get why he did that. And then he also pardoned Blagojevich, the former governor of Illinois.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but I believe it's the last 5 governors of Illinois. Wait for it. Wait, this is a great statistic. The last 5 governors of Illinois are in prison or died in prison. Yes, prison.
Well,
it is the most corrupt state in the United States.
Isn't it fitting that Obama was from there?
Oh, absolutely. And Obama was the product of the Democratic machine there that his little buddy Rahm Emanuel was part of. And Obama, the only thing Obama knows how to do is be a politician. He is actually as good a politician as Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was one of the best of all time. All he knew how to do was get elected. When he got there, he didn't really know how to do anything but apologize and be weak and fold to whatever whining demand came from the radical parts of his party, and as such, he did a crappy job of being president. But he's it, at any rate, he comes from that environment. That is from where Obama stems. So he's coming out of that Chicago-led Democratic machine that exists in Illinois. And even the Republicans, some of these governors in jail are Republicans. It's just the most corrupt state in the United States. There is no state that can hold a candle to it. It used to be New York was top notch, right, and Chicago just said, "No, we got this."
Yeah.
Don't
worry, it's okay. We'll take up the slack.
Oh my God! Yeah. So, at any rate, it's a modern day Tammany Hall. If you know what I'm talking about the New York bosses, Boss Tweed, Mayor Tweed of New York City. The modern day Tammany Hall is essentially Illinois politics. And so he pardoned Rod Blagojevich. Blagojevich tried to sell Obama's vacant Senate seat when Obama became president. He was basically selling his endorsement and positioned it that way. And he was actually sent to jail for bribery. Yes, that was a successful bribery prosecution.
Wow.
And he should have stayed in jail and rotted there. And now this turd is back walking amongst us.
That's wow. Way
I'm
to
horrified.
Go, Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. And Blagojevich was actually on The Apprentice. He was on The Apprentice, and Trump fired him. I've seen the clip where he said, "Rob, you're fired. Rob, you're fired." And Blagojevich, salutes smartly and leaves the table. But that was all fun and games back then. This is serious stuff, and sometimes I think Trump doesn't take it seriously.
See, this right here, this is something to be mad about.
Yes,
Trump.
This is something you might draw up an article of impeachment about and say that he's abusing his power.
Why don't Democrats focus on this shit?
Right.
If they really want something to be angry at Trump for, why not this? Why does it matter how much ice cream he had?
The House leader has her face in a gin bottle, and you're not going to get any sense out of the Democratic Party until this crop of leaders is gone and the crazy people like Tlaib and AOC are gone. There is a moderate part of the Democratic Party that are full of good people. At least they mean well. I mean, I might disagree with them about the role of a strong state and all that kind of stuff, but at least their policy positions and prescriptions are relatively sane. They're well tempered. They're well thought out. They mean well. They're patriotic. They love the United States. They are not crazy millennials being triggered all the time and demanding safe spaces.
Yeah.
They're not people who want to hurt a large part of the United States because of some perceived grievance like Tlaib and AOC want to do with the cis white males who've messed everything up. The society that we've made such a hash up, they live a pretty good life. It's if you compare the life that you live here to, say, Congo or Mali, it's a better quality of life. Trust me, and I would urge them with all my heart to move there if they don't believe me. So, at any rate, that's kind of all I had to say about that. There are a number of other good stories I wanted to find. Yeah, this is the okay.
TOS says.
TOS says.
Clinton and Obama both pardoned terrorists. And
He's
you're
right.
pissed
Clinton
about them pardoning Americans who did bribery.
kiss my backside. Okay, well, I'm not going to kiss your backside. And thanks for the invitation. And stay classy. But Obama and Clinton are jerks. I've come down pretty hard on them. I'm mad at all of them. Okay, don't set up the straw man that I'm not upset about what Obama and Clinton did. I was upset about that at the time. What I don't like is that Trump is intervening in the course of justice. Justice was done on this guy. He richly deserved to go to jail for the what he did. I mean, he damaged the political process deeply, and he deserved to go to jail. And I think you're wrong on that. In setting it up that way, I think you're being very misleading the way that you made that comment. And I don't know. Yeah, you do. I don't know what to say. Anyway,
Peter Almond says, I literally can't believe I never thought of that. Thanks, press. I've been looking for a place to attach my pop filter. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries.
So that's it. Anyway, getting back to the stuff, I was going to. This is a good one. Kansas crossing guard, 88 years old, struck and killed by car after saving two school children. This is really sad, but it's about a good man.
Yeah.
A crossing guard saved the lives of two students before he was struck and killed by a vehicle near a Kansas elementary school on Tuesday morning, according to multiple reports. Bob Nill, 88, whose children at this Catholic school called Mr. Bob, was managing traffic for two boys, 7 and 11, when he told them to stop for a speeding vehicle, the school's principal said. Eyewitness reports said he was struck after pushing the two boys out of the vehicle's path, according to Nill's employer, the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. He saved two of our students today, Principal Kathy Fithian told Kansas City's blah, blah, blah TV. I'm confident that they would not be here if he had not stepped in, and we are thankful. We feel very blessed to have had him in our lives for 5 years. We just pray for his family at this time. She added that the students loved him so much. He was always so worried about the kids' safety. When there was ice on the sidewalk, he'd come up and tell us the school so we could come up and make sure the kids wouldn't fall. He's always thinking about the kids more than himself. The entire school prayed a rosary for Nell following his selfless act. According to the Facebook page, he was transported to the University of Kansas Medical Center in critical condition and died a short time later. Police spokesman blah, blah, blah said on Tuesday morning it was too early to know what led to the crash. The driver was found and was evidently taken to the hospital for some reason and is now being investigated. So we'll see what happens with that. What a sad thing, but what a wonderful thing that 88 years old, and how do you go out saving two little kids' lives?
Well,
it's not a bad way to check out.
My kids' crossing guard, they still haven't found the guy that hit her. She's back, thankfully. And it was awesome. All the kids were giving her Valentine's on last Friday. You could tell she was really touched by it. It was and she's a great crossing guard too. She knows all the kids by name. She's always got a nice word for them.
Yep.
She's and she's always, she treats, she knows that I'm capable of crossing the street and everything like that, but she's always makes sure that, that she lets me know, okay, you're safe, you're good, and, or if she sees me coming back from dropping Alex off and she's started to head home, she'll turn around and come back with her stop sign and wait till I've crossed.
Good.
She's a amazing crossing guard. So.
Well, that crossing guards are, they can be heroes.
Yep.
They really truly can. By the way, this is all these are all items that I'm just that Matt basically has stuffed in your news for the coffee stream. I'm just going through there. This is an interesting one. If you're ever really unhappy you live in the United States, and you really think that our lives are closely circumscribed by the fascists in charge of government, try try this.
Okay, hold on. TOS, Skep didn't say he thought that that there should be articles of impeachment written up for Trump for this, right? He said if the Dems really wanted to look at something worthy.
Yeah, it's just it's more worthy for Dems to look at impeaching him for doing something crazy like this.
We were not saying that we thought this was impeachable.
No, not at all.
We were saying, why are the Dems not looking at things like this as their reasons?
I'm beginning to suspect a bit of an agenda on the TOS account. I'm sorry, but you're kind of showing your cards, dude. But like I said, you do you, and we welcome all opinions here on the stream. Just keep it respectful, and keep it accurate, though. That would be my advice to you. But if you think that it's just too oppressive in the United States, may I commend to you China?
Oh boy.
Liberalization hasn't gotten anywhere. Now, I need to tell you who these guys are, first of all. These are the Uyghurs. These are a minority group in the far, far western part of China.
They're Muslims, right?
Yeah, they're Muslims. It's kind of Muslims. They're a really off-brand sect of Islam. And they have beards and veils and so forth, that are typical of the chador style of dress among Muslims, and they browse sites that are not approved of by the communist government. So a document that appears to give the most powerful insight yet into how China determined the fate of hundreds of thousands of Muslims held in a network of internment camps has been seen by BBC. Listing the personal details of more than 3,000 individuals from the far western region of Xinjiang, it sets out in intricate detail the most intimate aspects of their daily lives. The painstaking records, made up of 137 pages of columns and rows, include how often people pray, how they dress, whom they contact, and how their family members behave. China denies any wrongdoing, saying it is combating terrorism and religious extremism. The document is said to have come at considerable personal risk from the same source inside Xinjiang that leaked a batch of highly sensitive material published last year. One of the world's leading experts on China policies in Xinjiang, Dr. Impossible to pronounce, a senior fellow at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation in Washington, believes the latest leak is genuine. This remarkable document presents the strongest evidence I've seen to date that Beijing is actively persecuting and punishing normal practices of traditional religious beliefs. One of the camps mentioned in it, the Number 4 Training Center, boy, is that right out of Orwell or what, has been identified by this guy as among those visited by the BBC as part of their tour organized by the Chinese Authority in May of last year. Much of the evidence uncovered by the BBC team appears to be corroborated by the new document, which was redacted for publication to protect the privacy of those included in it, and probably the ones who provided the document. It contains details of the investigation into 311 main individuals, listing their backgrounds, religious habits, and relationships with many hundreds of relatives, neighbors, and friends. Verdicts written in a final column decide whether those already in internment should remain or be released, and whether some of those previous released need to return.
This is
Jeez.
this is fucking off. Like I'm sorry. Like there are, you know, there are a lot of the over a billion Muslim people on this planet, and a great deal of them are not terrible, horrible, evil people. And China has no business doing what they are doing to these people.
Absolutely. And they just want to practice their religion. They want freedom of association, freedom of religion, and really nothing more than that. They're
Yeah.
not crazy people. They're not violent people. All they want to do is do their thing.
Yeah.
But China just, they have this need to control, this need for uniformity. That, this is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
And they believe that if they don't know what's going on, if they're not directing how those people think, that they will somehow turn to terrorism, that it will represent a threat to the state. And this is my argument against liberals and actually some conservatives who want the same thing, only they just want it all right wing in the United States. They want that. This is what makes me a libertarian. I want government out of our lives to the extent that that's practical.
Yeah.
I want for people to be able to make big mistakes. I want them to, and have big successes. I think that's gives the largest number of people the best quality of life. And this is the exact opposite. This is the state saying, no, you have to do this, you must do this, and whether it's the state saying that you must believe this, you must do that, you're not allowed to say this about these people, or it's the right wing saying, you must go to church on Sunday, you must, worship God and submit to Jesus Christ and all this other stuff, because anything else could represent a threat to the state. I reject all of those notions. I reject both the right and the left, and China is the reason why.
Maddie's got a good point. She says it's not just China, it's communism or socialism in general. They don't like doctrines that go against them.
She's so right. Or even just they don't like anybody who's not directly under their control. That really is what it is.
And then Lindsay says, speaking of China, maybe it's just a coincidence that this coronavirus outbreak happens around the same time as the Hong Kong protests.
Well, yeah, wasn't that an interesting news item, that it turns out that this didn't come from seafood in the Wuhan province, like they said.
No,
it came from a bioweapons lab.
Yeah, Lindsay had mentioned a couple of seconds back, or minutes back, that she said Chinese healthcare employees are coming out and saying it comes from a bioweapons lab. If that's true, I wonder if the CCP was trying to use the virus against these people, meaning the Uyghurs.
Yeah, and they're really sorry that it got out like that, and they won't do it again. They'll be more careful next time. Why are they developing this in the first place? Why are they developing bioweapons?
Well,
That's a fair question. Why is anybody?
I was gonna say, I think if we I think we need to be honest with ourselves and say that I think most developed countries are in secret developing biological weapons.
Yeah, I actually think it's a mixed bag, but I think definitely I would agree with you that some of them are. It's a very expensive process.
Oh, yeah.
Bioweapons are more expensive to develop, really, than nuclear weapons or where the technology is very, very well known how to make nuclear weapons, and the and chemical weapons. You know, chemistry's easy compared to biology. Biology is, finding, researching, and working with the types of things that you have to work with to develop
Yeah, like
weapons
to
is
study mutations as well,
yes,
right? You need to
exactly.
learn how things mutate.
You have to do
Um,
that in an environment where you're trying not to kill the researchers.
yes.
So it's uh, it's a very difficult thing to do. You have to really want to develop bioweapons to have a bioweapons, you know, lab. Yeah, I'm with Pink Hollow on this. Why are they developing bioweapons? The same reason the CDC does the same thing. I'm not sure that the CDC is developing bioweapons. I've not seen evidence of that. You know, it's everyone else
Oh,
does it is study mutations. You can study mutations without developing bioweapons.
yeah, but I think if we really it would be naive, I think, for us to say that only countries like China and maybe Russia develop bioweapon. Like I would not, if I found out the states had a bioweapon, I would not be shocked.
What, the United States?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guarantee it. I can even tell you where the lab is. It's in Maryland. It's just up the Anacostia River. I know exactly where that is. We actually don't make a secret about the fact that we do research with bioweapons. I mean, the specifics of the research are, obviously highly classified, but that we do it, we don't make any bones about that. And I don't approve of that. I think it's terrible. I think it's a terrible. Uh, you're talking about something that could, you could let something out that really would kill a substantial part of the world.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Like
yeah,
I think the last smallpox death in Britain was because of a a lab assistant in a uh, photo lab in the medical in the same in building
yeah,
um
contracting the smallpox.
contracted small
Wow.
like I think it escaped containment and went through the vent or something
Oh my
where she
God.
was working and she died of smallpox.
Man.
And she was the last death. It was in I think 78. I know this. Yeah, his cousin is Pink Hollow's cousin's a biologist, a microbiologist, and she studies the
Janet Parker was her name.
Janet Parker. Yep.
Yep. British medical photographer, and she was the last recorded person to die from smallpox. Her illness and death, which was connected to the deaths of two other people, led to the shooter inquiry, an official investigation by government appointed experts triggering radical changes in how dangerous pathogens were studied in the UK. And she was exposed to a strain of smallpox virus that had been grown in a research laboratory on the floor below her workplace at the University of Birmingham Medical School. The mode of transmission was likely airborne through a poorly maintained service duct between the two floors.
Yep.
Wow.
She was dead in a week, I think. Something like that.
Man, that she had been vaccinated against smallpox in 1966, but had not had it boosted since then. On the 11th of August, she fell ill. On the 20th of August at 3 p.m., she was admitted to the hospital. A clinical diagnosis of smallpox was made, and the rash had spread and covered all of her body, including the palms of her hands, the soles of her feet. And she died on the 11th of September. So she lived
Oh,
like
it
that
took her
for a
a
month.
month. Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Well,
What a horrible month.
Wow. It was anyway, very, very sad thing. But yeah, so folks, if you're going to develop bioweapons, if you're doing this at home, be careful.
Mm-hmm. Be
Please be
very
careful.
careful.
Yes, studying mutations. Oh my God.
So I have a story about bow hunting a black bear.
Bow hunting a black bear.
Yes, it set a record, apparently.
For dead archers.
700-pound black bear.
They killed it with a bow.
Apparently.
They have a grenade on it. Man, that's pretty ballsy stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know quite what to say about that. Oh, look at that! Good God.
So let's see here. A 700-pound bear shot in New Jersey is pictured, has set a new record. So this is the picture of it. It's the new world record of a black bear ever killed with a bow and arrow in North America.
That's a big ass. That's a big honking bear.
New Jersey, a bow hunting organization, says a 700-pound bear shot in New Jersey last fall has set a world record for the largest black bear killed with a bow in North America. The Pope and Young Club, a bow hunting and conservation organization, said the bear killed on October 14th in Morris County toppled a record set in 1993,
but just barely,
in California.
Right? Just barely.
Ha ha ha.
Sorry, go on.
Let's see here.
Dad jokes.
It has been an inspiring journey, to say the least, Hunter Jeff Malillo said in a statement quoted by the organization.
Yeah.
The New Jersey Club Records director, Eli Randall, said the animal's skull measured over 23 inches. Holy fuck!
That's almost 2 feet. That's 2/3 of a meter for those.
That is a big fucking bear.
That is a big fucking bear.
Malillo recalled an Outdoor Life article suggesting that a world record black bear would likely come from New Jersey one day. Oh, look, it did. They were spot on, and I never doubted it for 1 second. I'm very grateful that I get to be a part of all of this. Pursuing bears with a bow and arrow is a passion of mine, he said in the organization's release. The bear, preserved through taxidermy, is to be preserved at the Pope and Young Annual Convention in Virginia in March.
So, where were all the environmentalists protesting the death of this innocent bear?
I don't know.
The ones who were doubtless pro-abortion, but anti-killing bear.
Wow, that's a big bear.
Yeah. I mean, and they're omnivores. They simply will eat anything they encounter that's edible.
Yep.
And Pinkel says he's not eating berries, and he's right. That's pretty scary. Hey, Prospero.
And my last story I have: could snake venom cure cancer?
Well, sure. Not in the way you think, but you won't have a problem with cancer. Afterwards.
So this is I guess my science-y article. So apparently there's been a study done. If it will let me get to the fucking headline. Okay, where the hell is it?
Okay, I've actually got it right here.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, a team of scientists at the University of Northern Colorado believe venom from venomous snakes could carry the cure to cancer. Dr. Stephen McKessie, professor at UNC's School of Biology, says studies show venoms in different snakes can attack human cancer cells in unique ways. To conduct the study, McKessie students are given access to hundreds of snakes from around the world. How fun. All of which are stored in a secured facility on campus. From rattlesnakes to vipers, the students are able to extract venom from each snake to study the components of proteins. These are compounds that have evolved to kill other animals, kill things, and in general wreak havoc with living systems. It turns out it's actually a very logical place to look for therapeutics. So anyway, people tend to have this visceral reaction to snakes in general. Yes, I certainly do. Snake venoms have been used since the 1950s to treat things like high blood pressure in millions of people around the world. And McKessie said his lab is one of the first to research the possible uses of venom compounds to battle various forms of cancer. When you think about looking for a therapeutic drug, you don't turn first to something like a venom or toxin as the source. Another person has specifically been researching viper venoms, some of which come from habitats as close as southern Arizona. Each venom in different doses reacts to cancers differently. One viper venom kills breast cancer really quickly at low doses, and it kills colon cancer at low doses, but it doesn't kill melanoma. Other venoms react strongly to melanoma and don't kill the breast cancer. Killing the cancer with venom isn't hard. It's not killing the patient at the same time. That's the challenge. The team at UNC said their challenge is finding which compounds can be combined with other remedies to cure cancer efficiently while preserving other life-dependent cells. If finding the proper doses and mixes is just like panning for gold, one of them said. The study is still in the preliminary phases. Once the team feels they have a solid answer to which venom compounds are safe to battle cancer with, the research would press on to one day potentially make it to clinical studies. Man, they're
Pincalo says, well, it works better than the venom from non-venomous snakes. Well, because the article said venom from venomous snakes.
Yes, absolutely. The venom from non-venomous snakes is frankly weak. It's just weak. That's why they're called non-venomous. So
silly.
Anyway. So, yeah, you never really know what's going to come from a natural source, even something like a rattlesnake. It may be, in fact, that these dangerous animals house in their venom something that may one day be life-saving for you or someone you know. So that's pretty cool stuff. It shows the guy holding up a big, honking, fat. I'm trying to see what this is. It's kind of a yellowish snake. I don't know what. It's not a variety of snake that I can recognize, but it's a scary looking snake. It's obviously a viper of some kind. They have pictures of all kinds of snakes.
I keep wanting to say, is it just me, or is this bringing a whole new meaning to the term snake oil?
Snake oil salesman. Yeah, it could be the snake oil salesman is the guy who comes along and cures you of cancer. Before we go, I had one other story that was kind of it's a positive one to end on.
Cool.
On second, I hate when I lose stuff like this. Hang on. Let's see.
What was it about?
It was about.
Gunny says in chat, good news. Brian Newman, the NASCAR driver, is awake and talking to doctors. He was in a wreck in the last lap.
Just as I found an update on Roush Fenway racing driver Ryan Newman. and that was that Ryan Newman remains under the care of doctors at Halifax Medical Center in Daytona Beach. He is awake and speaking with family and doctors.
Good.
He's in serious but stable condition. Ryan and his family express their appreciation for concern and heartfelt messages, and they're grateful for the unwavering support of the NASCAR community and beyond. So yes, I just wanted that I couldn't even remember what it was about. Was it was about this guy Ryan Newman who was, if you look at that crash, I mean it's amazingly violent, and it's astonishing that these guys can survive something like that. The car actually flies up in the air. The car becomes airborne,
Oh
completely,
wow.
totally fucking airborne, comes down on its roof or
Oh my
on its
god.
top, and is being dragged along. Evidently, there's like a cage around the guy, and that saved his life. And that's just was a miracle thing.
That's terrifying.
So anyway, that's uh, that's
It's good
a
to know that he's awake and that he's
absolutely.
communicating. That's good.
Absolutely. It's funny we're talking about this. Chat is still full of, I hate snakes. Yes, snakes are bad. They scare me. I don't like snakes either. Hey, about snakes? Yeah, they're scary. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. That I don't like them either. In point of fact, not in my adult phase. I was
And he
fascinated by them
was
when I was
T-boned
yeah. After
after
he
he was
after he was on his roof, another car ran into the side of him, T-bone style. I mean,
Oh
it was
man.
just a terrible. It looked to me much worse than the Dale Earnhardt crash,
Mm.
and that was a which was a fatal one. That Blind Press and Skep, this gun fox saying the crashes that are drawn out are good ones because it's the car taking all the energy out of the crash. It's the sudden stops that normally kill drivers. Yes, that's true. That's also true of skydiving. You like a soft long term landing and not an abrupt one, because that's what absolutely. Um, yeah, the
Pinkalo,
safety equipment did its job.
yeah, Pinkalo said I grew up on the drag racing tracks as a kid. Um, when you see, uh,
Funny cars and top fuel racers
yeah,
do that front end lift up and flip over. You get used to seeing that. Is always cool.
and then he said when the and Newman was because the safety equipment
Did its
did its
job.
job.
Yeah,
Everything
everything
worked
worked out
fine.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. Uh, yeah, that was what got Earnhardt the high speed encountering the wall. I mean, he
Yeah.
literally he just slammed his car into a wall. He was not in that neck rig, and just basically shook his neck off of his shoulders and
Yeah.
smashed him around. So very it's anyway, it's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. You guys have spent another hour of your lives listening to Blind Press and Skep Talk prattle on about life, the universe, and everything. Any parting thoughts?
I would just like to remind everybody to go check out that stream that Sanguine is hosting tonight at 11:30 Eastern,
Yeah.
10:30 Central on the Minions of the Zoo channel.
Thank you.
And tomorrow night, Prospero is hosting, and Skep
Absolutely.
Talk and I will be there.
Yay.
Also, jump over tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern onto my Twitch channel, which I will put into chat right now because I will be doing my gaming stuff over there.
Yeah, put that link in chat and I'll fire that. I'll fire it to I went over 20,000 followers today on Twitter, by the
Nice.
way. Yay. So I'll send that out to my mob who ignore me. As they should.
And Irate, I'm gonna DM you, and see if you're available on Friday.
I was going to ask if you had a guest for Friday.
And then of course Saturday is Hammer's picks for Star Trek, which are Scorpion, Juggernaut, and I think he meant drone. Drone is what it was. Was the third one. So those
Yeah.
are Hammer's picks. There's the underscore key.
And yeah, Pink Hell, that's my understanding, is that Earnhardt was not wearing the head and neck restraint.
That was in the late 90s, right?
I think it was in the 2000s. When was Dale Earnhardt, DAL. That was 2001, February 18th, 2001. So yeah, it's kind of, almost late in the 90s.
I love Star Trek, says Charlie Spears. Oh, Star Trek is great.
Come and join us. Oh, speaking of which, on Saturday, do we?
Yep, that's Hammer's picks.
Yep.
It's Scorpion, Juggernaut, and Drone.
Scorpion, Juggernaut, and Drone.
Scorpion is the two-parter, ends season 3, begins season 4. Drone is season 5, episode 2, and Juggernaut is season 5, episode 21.
Scorpion, Juggernaut, and Drone. I'm sorry, Juggernaut is season 2?
No, 521.
521. Okay, that's 521, and
Drone is 52.
And 5-2. All right, 5-2. And Scorpion is that two-parter. I know which one that is. It's like season 2 and 3 or something.
Scorpion is 3/26/41.
413. Yeah.
2001 is when Earnhardt died. Okay.
Yes, that's what I said. Okay. February of 2001.
Maddie, also go to Maddie's channel tomorrow at 11 Central, 12 Eastern for Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk.
Yes, Scorpion is the first episode with 7. You are correct, Mr. Dax.
You are correct, sir.
Lots of Borg, yes. Lots and lots of Borg. And on that note, my friends, we are going to end. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Thank you for watching.
Resistance is futile.
Resistance is indeed futile. I hope you enjoyed watching, and be sure to catch me on Twitch tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. The link's in the chat. And CoffeeStream again, Friday guest day on Friday at noon Eastern. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
See you later, guys.